Good morning all. In the last two classes, we have discussed about composition of functions and invertible functions. Today, let us children solve some problems based on composition of functions and invertible functions. So today I have brought some examples from NCERT textbook which are standard examples. So let us try to solve it. Let me read the question for you. Let f, g and h are functions from R to R. Then show that f plus g composite h is same as f composite h plus g composite h. That means adding two functions and then taking the composition is same as taking the composition of individual functions and then adding it. So here it is simple. We have to apply the definition of composition of functions. So let me check what is given to me. I am given f is a function from R to R. I am given g is a function from R to R. Alright. So both are real functions because the domain and the codomain of both the functions are R. And you know that they are called as real functions. And also you can see that very well composition is possible for f composite g is possible. Right? Because the codomain of the first function is same as the domain of the second function. Even if I do f plus g, again I will be landing in real number set because all are R. So let me start with my left hand side. So I have f plus g composite h. You know that children, by the definition, f plus g composite h should always, any function, any composition of two functions should always operate on a function. Always operate on an element. So I have taken an element x. So this will be same as, by definition, it will be f plus g at h of x. Alright. So this will be f of h of x if I take h of x to both the functions, and it will be g of h of x. Once again apply the definition. So it will become f composite h at x plus g composite h at x. So you can see here f composite h at x and g composite h at x. So this can be rewritten as f composite h plus g composite h at your element x, right? But this is same as writing here f composite h plus g composite h. So I am able to prove that f plus g composite of h is same as f composite h plus g composite h. Okay, now let us take some another problem. Let us move to the second problem. Second problem is saying that you are going to find g composite f and f composite g if f of x equal to modulus function of x and g of x is again modulus function of f of x minus 2. Now children, always remember that whenever nothing is mentioned about your function, always remember that the functions are real functions. That means always consider f from R to R and g from R to R. It is by default taken as real functions unless something is specified. Okay, so now we are asked to find g composite f of x and f composite g. Okay, g composite f and f composite g definitely has to operate on an element. Let us operate it on x. Okay, so how will I solve this? Right, so it is g composite f. I told you it should work on an element x. So g composite f is nothing but g of f of x. Alright, so g of f of x, but f of x has a definition. What it is? It is mod of x. Now how does g define x? It is 5 times modulus of, it is modulus of 5 times this number, right? It is modulus of 5 times this number minus 2. So how will I write here? 5 times this number minus 2. Alright. So my g composite f at x is g of f of x is nothing but 5 times modulus of 5 times this minus 2. Alright. Now I am asked to find what is f composite g of x. By definition, it is f of g of x. Alright. So this is nothing but that is equal to f of g of x is defined as f of x minus 2. Right. Now how is f of x defined as? It is defined as modulus of x. How it will be? It will be modulus of this x. But this is already inside one modulus. Is that clear, children? So what do you get the answer here? The answer here I get is, if I take the absolute value of this, it will be modulus of x minus 2 here. Is that clear? Can you see? Both the answers are not the same. Here you have 5 of modulus of x. So here it is always guaranteed that x will be positive. Right, but here it is not there. Here x can be positive or negative. So we can conclude that, children, g composite f and f composite g of a function need not be same. Okay, g composite f here is a different answer. F composite g is also a different answer. Right. So both the functions are not same. So composition of functions answers need not be same. Moving on. Third one, if f of x is equal to 4x plus 3 upon 6x minus 4, where x is not equal to 2 by 3, then show that f composite f of x is equal to x for all x not equal to 3. What is the inverse of f? Alright, so if you look at the problem carefully, children, there is a condition put on x not equal to 2 by 3. Why is it so? Because if I put here 2 by 3, then what will happen? This will take the value 4, and 4 minus 4 will be 0. So this function will not be defined. So they have taken utmost care that denominator is non-zero. So this function is well defined, right? Second part of the question, second part says that you have to prove this f composite f of x is x. Okay, for all x not equal to 2 by 3, the same condition is preserved here. You have to find out what is the inverse of f here. If you look at this carefully, children, it is as the definition of invertible function, right? If you know that we have studied last time that if g composite f and f composite g happens to be identity function, then they are inverses of each other. So here also you can see that x is mapped to x itself. So that means if I am able to prove that f composite f of x is x, then that means the inverse of f is f itself. There will no be, you need not find any other inverse for f, because this itself is the definition of invertible function by definition. So let me start with what I am to prove. So I am going to prove f composite f of x. Alright, so this by definition is f of x. Okay, so this will be f of 4x plus 3 upon 6x minus 4. Okay, now how is your function defined? 4x plus 3 upon 6 minus 4. Okay, but how is your function defined? Your x is becoming here 4 times x. So this, suppose this is my capital, this whole number is my capital X. What will happen? This is going to be, this is going to be 4 times of this capital X, 4 times of this number. Okay, now to that number you have to add 3 upon 6 times of this capital number, this full number, 6 times of 4x plus 3 upon 6x minus 4 minus 4. Okay, now we have to solve this. You can see denominators are same if I take LCM. So what will happen, children? The numerator will become 16x, open the bracket, plus 12. At the same time multiply here also, take the LCM, upon 6x minus 4 whole upon, you have here 24x plus 18 minus 4 times 6x minus 4 upon 6x minus 4. Now denominators are same, it will get cancelled. So 16x plus 18x, it will become 34x plus 12 and minus 12, right? Plus 12 minus 12, which will get cancelled. Here 24 minus 24x, right? 24x minus 24x will get cancelled here. And here 18, 4 4s are 16, and with plus sign will become here again 34. So what do I get? I'll get 34x upon 34. So my answer is x. So that means I have got f composite f at x is x. Alright, I've got f composite, f of x equal to x, which is required in my question, right? Where your x is not 2 by 3. So this proves the definition of invertible function. So here I can conclude there. Therefore, f itself is the inverse of f. And how will be the inverse value? How will be the pre-image looking, or how will be f inverse looking? It will be having images under f inverse as 4x plus 3 upon 6x minus 4. Okay. Very simple problems there, children. Moving on. Next one. State with reason whether following functions have inverse. If you remember, children, in the definition of invertible functions, I have told you functions are invertible means it is 1 function and onto function, or in other words I can say that inverse of a function exists only if the function is bijective, that means 1 and onto. So if I want to check here whether my given functions are inverse, is equivalent to find whether it is bijective or not by definition. So bijective means injective and surjective. So let me diagrammatically represent this. So I have here one set here, I have one set here. In the first set my elements are 1, 2, 3 and 4. The second set I have element 10. Now you know how to read this. Yesterday we have seen this kind of problems, right? So it is f of 1 is 10. 1 is 10. 2 is also 10. 3 is also 10. 4 is also 10. So what is happening to this function, children? It is not a 1 function, it is a many one function. So since it is not a 1 function, this function is not 1. So it is not bijective, and by definition we know that only bijective function have inverses. Therefore f does not have inverse. Is the function onto, children? I am just asking, is the function onto? Yes, because there is only one element here, 10, and 10 is having pre-images. Even though it is not unique, 10 is having pre-image, right? So you can see if you remember, the range of the function is same as your codomain. Range of your function is same as your codomain. So it happens to be onto, but it's of no use because it's not 1. So this function is not having inverse. Second one. Same problem, you have to check whether this function h is having inverse or not. Again I am going to draw it diagrammatically. 2 sets. Let me write the elements of the set. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Let us map 2 going to 7, 2 going to 7, 3 going to 9, 3 going to 9, 4 going to 11, 4 going to 11, 5 going to 13, 5 going to 13, right? So here you can see that your function h, okay, your function h is 1 because every element has unique image. Also you can see that your function h is onto because here all the elements, okay, is having pre-images, right? Or I can say that my codomain of my function h is same as my range of my function h. So h is 1 and onto, so h happens to be bijective, so h has inverse. Alright, children, moving on. Fifth problem. Consider f from r plus 2 closed interval 4 to infinity given by f of x equal to x square plus 4. Show that f is invertible with inverse f inverse of f given by f inverse of y is equal to square root of y minus 4, where r plus, okay, it's a new notation, r plus is the set of all non-negative real numbers, okay, non-negative real numbers. Okay, so you know that 0 is neither positive nor negative, so you will have 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. coming in this set, right? R plus. Okay, so it is from R plus to your function 4 comma infinity. From 4 onwards you have all positive real numbers in this side. Okay, in the codomain. Okay, R plus is set of all non-negative real numbers, and for infinity these are also positive numbers, 4 and more than 4. All right. So what is being asked to show that f is invertible with inverse f inverse of f given by f inverse of y is equal to square root of y minus 4. So f is invertible means, children, I have to show that my function is 1 1 and on 2. So let me start with 1 1. Okay, so let me start with 1 1. I'm going to start. So first I'm going to show f is invertible, then we will see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to take, let x1 x2 belongs to R plus such that, this is our normal definition, right? F of x1 is equal to f of x2. So applying the definition here, I will get x1 square plus 4 is equal to x2 square plus 4. 4 and 4 will get cancelled. So I will have x1 square same as x2 square. So this means x1 square minus x2 square is 0. Apply the definition of a square minus b square. So I have x1 minus x2 into x1 plus x2 is equal to 0. Now since I have R plus, set of all non-negative real numbers, x1 plus x2 will never be 0. So that means x1 minus x2 is 0 because it is set of non-negative real number. This term x1 or x2 will never be negative. Okay, now neither both of them can be negative, neither one of them can be negative. So this bracket will never become 0. So I mean x1 is equal to x2. That means my function f is 1 1. Okay, now the second part is I have to prove that whether my function is onto, right? I have to prove my function is onto. So this time I am going to start with an element from my codomain. So I am going to start with let y belong to for infinity such that y is equal to f of x, but f of x is defined as x square plus 4. So what will happen? X square will be equal to y minus 4. But children, here x, if I take this, now if I am taking square root, I have to take plus and minus root, right? But since your x is coming from R plus, so x should be of the form y minus 4, right? Square root of y minus 4, it cannot be minus because it is R plus. So under this, okay, so under this condition, what will happen is you are getting a pre-image for this function y, for this element y belong to 4 infinity, you have pre-image as positive square root of y minus 4. Okay, so now you know that second part second part of the definition says that after getting the pre-image, children, you have to prove this condition also, y equal to f of x. So I am going to start with f of x. I hope you understood why it is not negative. So f of x will be what, children? It will be f of square root of y minus 4. Now how is the definition? X going to x square plus 4. So f of this function will be square root of y minus 4 the whole square plus 4. So this is half and this is 2. It will get cancelled. So I have y minus 4 plus 4 coming up. So I will have y. So I have found the pre-image, right? And I have proved the condition that f of x equal to y. So I can say that my f is onto. Now because f is 1 1, because f is onto, f is invertible. Okay, f is invertible. Yes. Now the next part of the question is you have to find f inverse. So f is invertible with with inverse of f given by f inverse of y is equal to square root of y minus 4. All right. Now you know that, children, to find f inverse, what I am going to do? I am going to take 1y, let y is equal to x square minus 4. Okay. From here, I have taken y is equal to, not x square, minus 4. Right? So what will happen, children? This will mean that my x is of the type So I am going to take y is equal to x square minus 4. So my x will be going to be square root of y minus 4. Alright. So now what will happen? Your x, right? Your y was f of x. So I can very well write my x as f inverse of y. So that is equal to square root of y minus 4. Is that clear? Or instead of doing this, children, anyhow we have proved that f is onto and we have found the pre-image, right? How the pre-image for every element for 4 infinity is going to look. So here itself, I could have written it as x. Instead of x, I can write here f inverse of y is equal to square root of y minus 4. From where did I get y equal to x square minus 4? I got it from here. Is that clear? Now coming back to the next problem. Consider f is a function from r plus 2 closed interval minus 5 comma infinity given by f of x is equal to 9x square plus 6x minus 5. Show that f is invertible with f inverse of y is equal to square root of y plus 6 minus 1 divided by 3. So same kind of problem is we are going to do this in the same way. Okay. So here again r plus means set of all non-negative real numbers, and here you have numbers going from minus 5, okay, to your left side, from minus 5 to infinity. Is that clear? Now so let us solve this. But children, before solving this, children, you can see that my function f of x is a quadratic equation, right? It looks it looks very complicated, right? Because if I solve the problems, and if it was like previous problem, right? Previous problem you had just x square plus 4 and you had to do so many calculations. So, right? So what I am going to do here is I am going to try to simplify this and make it into some easy form so that when we solve the problems, we will be able to do it quickly. So what it will be? This will be equal to, I am going to try to write in the form of some perfect square. So children, if you want, I can write it as 9x square plus 6x plus 1 minus 6. 5 I have broken into 1 minus 6. So now you have, how to form a perfect square. Write the first terms, square root, the last term. So 9x square root is 3x. The last term 1 square root is 1. Now square it. Okay, so what will happen? You will get 9x square plus 6x plus 1. That means a plus b the whole square. Okay, so this I have simplified. Okay, so my f of x is of this type. Now let me call this as some y. Okay, so this will be better. So it will be 3x plus 1 the whole square minus 6. Alright, so this means if I try to simplify this, 3x plus 1 the whole square will be equal to y plus 6. Alright, so 3x plus 1 will be equal to square root of y plus 6. Alright, so this will be 3x is equal to square root of y plus 6 minus 1. So my x is going to be square root of y plus 6 minus 1. Now 1 does not have a square root, okay, divided by 3. Now if you see children, this adjustment all I have done because I am getting something from here. Exactly. So that's why very intelligently I try to simplify it so that it may be useful for my future calculation, and then I simplified and you can see that something I have got as it is familiar in the question. Alright, now let us show that f is invertible. Now children, usual 1 and onto process will be very lengthy, and there are chances of making more mistakes. So this time we are going to use the definition of invertible functions. What is the definition of invertible functions is f composite g and g composite f. If you are able to show that it is identity function, then your function will be invertible. So let us do the calculation here. So let me start with f composite g of x. Okay, I am not applying the usual. So f of g of x. So what is my g of x, children? G of x is, right, g of x I have not defined, right? So before that I have to define. Okay, so let me define it here somewhere. So g means its inverse, no? G means the inverse. So inverse function g will be from from this, right? So it will be from minus 5 comma infinity to r plus, okay, to r plus, because we are going to show that f composite g and g composite f is invertible. So how is my f inverse? That means how is your g is already given me in the question, right? I just have to prove that they are inverse. They have to prove that just that they are identity functions. So this will be gy is equal to root y plus 6 minus 1 upon 3. Okay, because whatever f inverse I am supposed to prove to look like this, I am defining in advance it to be that, but when this will be true, when it is invertible. So now very well g of x I can write, I can replace x, right, wherever y is appearing. So it will be looking like root of x plus 6 minus 1 by 3. Now how is f of x defined? F of x, you take the new definition. What is my f of x defined, children? F of x is 3x plus 1 the whole square minus 6. Okay, so what I will write here? I will write here very carefully 3 times this number, right? So 3 times this number means 3 times root of 6 plus 6 minus 1, okay, this full number, no, plus 1, all right, its whole square minus 6. Do you get me, children? Treat it as capital X. So 3 times capital X, right, 3 times capital X plus 1 and its whole square minus 6. Okay, so now you can see that, children. Now I am going to simplify the terms in the bracket. Now you can see that this 3 and this 3 can be cancelled, right? This 3 and this 3 will be get cancelling. So this will turn out to x plus 6 minus 1 plus 1 the whole square minus 6, because 3 and 3 will get cancelled here, because square is outside. It has nothing to do with this 3, right? Square is outside the bracket. So this 3 will get cancelled. So we will get here. Similarly, this and this will get cancelled. So you are left back with root of x plus 6 the whole square minus 6. Again, square, root and 2 they get cancelled. X plus 6 minus 6 is going to be x. So I am able to prove, children, f composite g of x is x under my choice of g of y as this, as it is given in the question. I am just trying to prove that it is invertible with the help of this already given. Similarly, I have to prove the other way around. I have to prove now g composite f of x is again x. So I am starting with g of f of x, right? So g of f of x means what, children? As g of f of x, you know, just now we have seen it is 3x plus 1 the whole square minus 6. Now how is your definition of g of x or g of y? How it is? It is defined as square root of this complete, just look here, it is square root of this complete number plus 6, right? So square root of this complete number plus 6. So it will be 3x plus 1 the whole square minus 6, this complete number, right? To that you have to add 6, to that complete number you have to add 6. So I am going to add here 6. From that I am going to subtract 1 upon the whole upon 3. Okay, imagine this to be my, right, or you can look here, this to be my y. So this, if this is y, that means I have to take the square root of this full number. Along with it I have to add 1 6, right? Same thing here, add 6, then subtract minus 1 and then 3. Alright, so minus 6 will get cancelled here, children. So similarly this will reduce to 3x plus 1 the whole square minus 1 here upon 3. Square root and 2 will get cancelled. So I have 3x plus 1 minus 1 upon 3. So my answer is going to be 3x upon 3. So it is again x. So I am able to get G composite f of x is x. So that means children, our f is invertible, right? F is invertible because they both are identity function. F is invertible and as asked in the question, right? Instead of f inverse, we have called our function as G. Its inverse is f inverse. Put G as f inverse. Put G here as f inverse. It will be square root of y plus 6 minus 1 by 3. Alright, so even though the question looks too complicated, it is very simple when you try to do it. So just imagine children, if I think of injectivity and onto function, how much difficult it would have been, how much chances of mistakes would have been, right? So it is better you do the adjustment in the beginning, so it will become easy for you. Alright, so we have proved your function is invertible with its image this. Okay, moving on. The last one for the day. It is given that let x and y be set such that f is a function from x to y, be an invertible function, show that the inverse of f inverse is f. Is that clear? So what it is saying that if x and y are set such that f is function from x to y is invertible function, then the inverse of f inverse is f. You know that f will have f inverse, so it is saying that f inverse is f. Is that clear? So I mean what I am saying is, if you take inverse of again an inverse function, you will get f. Which is very true because f's inverse is f. F's inverse is f inverse, right? F's inverse is f inverse. So f inverse will again be f, right? Very funny question, right? F's inverse is f inverse and f inverse is f, which is very true. So it is very easy to prove, nothing hard, just applying of definition. Okay, so I'm going to start with here. Let f is a function from x to y be invertible. Invertible means it is 1, 1 and on 2, right? So depending upon situation, you can apply the definition of 1, 1 on 2, or you can use the definition of composition of function. But here I am going to use, children, injectivity and on 2, right? Let us see which one is easier. Okay, so f is a function from x to y be invertible, so that means it is 1, 1 and on 2, children. So the inverse, f inverse, will be going from y to x. Okay, so by the definition, what will happen? Let x belongs to x, then what will happen, children? If x belongs to x, then since it is invertible, there will be some y in f of x, right, belongs to y, such that what will happen? Your f inverse, okay, your f inverse, now you are allowed to do here, f inverse of y will be equal to x. See what I have written? F is a function from x to y is invertible, so it is f inverse of y going to x. That means every element is that means everything inside this is 1, 1, and every image has a pre-image. That means I am taking x belongs to x such that y equal to f of x. Definition of on 2 belongs to y. Now this y will come from y, okay, y, such that now since it is invertible, I can do f inverse of y equal to x. Now I am going to use the definition of composition. So now here it is better to use composition. In the beginning I have used injectivity, I have used the definition, usual procedure of onto and 1, 1, but later on, children, when I see there is no function, there is no problem solving like here, right? So I will go for composition of function. So let me check what is my f inverse composite f. Alright, now children, f inverse composite f, now you should know whether it is operating on x or on y, right? Now f inverse composite f will be from y to y, right? F inverse composite, if I write it here again, x to y, you can see that f inverse composite f, right, will be on y. Is it correct? Is it correct? See, f inverse composite f will be from x to x. Yes or no, children? I made a mistake in saying, right? If f is a function from x to y and f inverse is a function from y to x, then you can see that f inverse composite f will be operating at x. Now, what will be F composite F inverse? See, children, you should be very careful. You can't write X or Y, anything like this. You have to see the composite. So, if you don't know, you can do as just I have done. Now, what is F composite F inverse? IY to, it is going from Y to Y. So, it is going to be at Y. Is that clear? Now, apply the definition. So, it is F inverse of F of X. Right? But F of X is Y. Right? But F inverse of Y is X. Okay, so I have got this F inverse composite F, anything mapped to itself. Now similarly here, F of F inverse of Y. So this is F of X, but F of X is Y again from here. Right, simple definition. So I am able to prove that F inverse composite F of X is identity, F composite F of F inverse of Y is also Y. So that means F inverse composite F and F composite F inverse, since they are identity functions, they are inverses of each other. So F and F inverse are inverses of each other. Right? So what will happen here? The inverse of F inverse is F. That is what I told you in the beginning. F inverse will be F. Is that clear? Okay, so that's all for today. I hope that with all these examples your theory of invertible and composition function is clear and you are prepared to solve any kind of problems, whether to check invertible or to find composition of two functions. Always remember, invertible, there are two ways of doing. Either you go for composition and prove it as identity, or invertible and prove it as 1 1 and on 2. Okay children, that's all for today. Thank you children for listening to me. Next time we will start with some new topic. Thank you.